The Arizona Coyotes are moving. They are headed to Salt Lake City. Robyn Leano of Locked On Coyotes joins us to discuss what this means for the franchise and for the NHL and for the people of Arizona. All that and more on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you can get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Coyotes, Robyn Leano. And Robyn, I know this is a difficult time for Coyotes fans and for hockey fans in Arizona with the team all but certainly headed to Salt Lake City for next year. Talk to me about where we stand right now, because the situation seems to be changing almost by the hour.
Yeah, it is. It is constantly changing. A lot of me is trying to say, I don't even know where to start, because it started off with us just knowing that, hey, they were making two schedules, one in Salt Lake and one in Mullet. And we're now here where after Friday's game, I think it was as early as Friday's game, right before Friday's game, Bill Armstrong took a flight on over to Edmonton before the Coyotes game against the Edmonton Oilers, met with the team and informed them of the situation. The Arizona Coyotes are indeed moving to Salt Lake City starting as early as next season. It's supposed to be made public. I think a lot, like the official announcement by Gary Bettman and at Coyotes organization on the 17th, I believe, from what I understand, either the 17th or the 18th, either right before their final game or right after their final game. And I feel like it's a lot to take in. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What has been the reaction of hockey fans and Coyotes fans so far to all of this shocking news?
It's been emotions have been high here in Arizona. That's to say the least. I feel like a lot of people have been feeling a mix of apathy, dejection, heartbreak. It's like they're going through the 5 stages of grief. It's like they're losing something. It's like a lot of people were saying it's like losing a family member, because a lot of people, that's all they knew. Arizona Coyotes hockey. They remember growing up, going to America West Arena back in the day when they were in downtown Phoenix, Gila River Arena when they were in Glendale. Those just the 2 years at Mold Arena, people made so many memories. And so people got so close to this team. The players, the Doan family, with Shane and Josh Doan. So, I understand all those feelings. I'm talking with so many fans, and they're trying to grasp their feelings to me and trying to understand how they should feel. And I'm like, you feel how you need to feel. Right. Like, I can't tell you right now.
How are the players reacting to this? I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that some of the players were not thrilled with the idea of leaving the desert and heading up to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed feelings right now for a lot of the players. It's kind of like, for me, I can't really say exactly which players are leaning in which direction, but there are a mix of those who are kind of just like, they take it, they understand it's a business decision, things happen. But there are a lot that came to Arizona because they wanted to play in Arizona. Arizona is a beautiful state, got great weather year round. We make the joke all the time. It's people come here so they can leave their hockey practice in shorts and flip-flops because the weather is fantastic here year round. With maybe the exception of June, July, and August when this place gets 120 degrees, but they still love it. like some people say, they even love that heat. That's why they come here. Yeah,
it's a dry heat.
Exactly. That's why they come here. So I think that was where a lot of the disappointment comes. A lot of players who have played most of their careers here, essentially getting their entire lives uprooted as they're getting told, hey, we're moving to a completely different city. Salt Lake City. Yeah, sure. It's just in the neighboring state, just north of us. It's part of the Four Corners, but I mean, completely different climate, completely different vibes you're going to be getting in Salt Lake City versus the Phoenix metropolitan area.
So how did we get here? I mean, if you're looking to talk about like who's at fault for this team ending up getting to the point where they feel like they had to move, you know, what went wrong?
I think there's not one thing that I could say that went wrong. There were so many different things that led up to it. If you ask any of the fans, just about every single fan will point one finger to one person, and that's the ownership and Alex Marorello. And they believe that they were strung along. They were made to believe that that he was here to keep the team in Arizona, and that was his goal, to do what he can to keep the team in Arizona and not allow any relocation, to win here. And it seemed that, you know, that they were hiding the fact that a lot of these discussions were happening behind closed doors. Rumors of Salt Lake City, as we're finding out, was started coming to fruition as early as January. But the Coyotes kept refuting it at that time. They're like, no, we're committed to Arizona. We're committed to Arizona. So it's really hard to say exactly where, who's at fault. But again, I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's like, ownership is just, hiding the fact that a lot of this happened behind closed doors and they just said nothing about it.
How about politics? I mean, there were votes.
There were a lot of things that happened against it. You take a look back at the failed election. I knew you had me on, on the Monday show right after Tempe voted no on their election for the Coyotes not to have their arena on what's currently still a landfill in the city of Tempe. They wanted to move to Mesa, but apparently, Mesa did not like the money that was being thrown their way, the price tag. Discussions with the city of Scottsdale and the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community was also stopped at a standstill. They found a spot in Phoenix, but it got so much pushback from Scottsdale. So many local leaders, even all the way back to the situation in Glendale. When they got kicked out of Glendale, which I want to make sure that people are aware. They didn't get kicked out of Glendale because they didn't pay their bills. They got kicked out of Glendale because they did not agree to a 12-year lease extension with the city. Right. I want to make that clear because a lot of people are getting that one wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I know the NHL has talked about leaving the door open for a return to Arizona for a new franchise. Talk to me about that, and how realistic do you think it is, and can they get past these political roadblocks to make that happen?
Yeah, I feel like the situation that's happening right now is, and I feel like, and I'm going to go credit Elliot Friedman for a lot of his really well done reporting. I listened to his 31 Thoughts yesterday or on Friday, and he told me, essentially what he said was that the Coyotes are going to become an inactive team. Essentially what's happening is Utah's getting a, quote, expansion team. Ryan Smith is buying all the contracts from the Coyotes, taking them up. And the NHL is telling Alex Marorello, hey, get your stuff figured out. Get that arena in Phoenix that you're focusing on with that auction coming up in June. Get the arena, build your entertainment district, and prove to us that you can make hockey work in Arizona, and then we'll grant you an expansion team again in 3, 5, maybe 6 years down the road.
Do you think he'll be able to do that? Or if he can't, is there someone else who maybe could?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that I can say about this. So I think the first is, I think like the promise had to be put in place. However, based off how emotions are right now, things could change in 5 or 6 years down the road. But at this time, I feel like so many fans are betrayed. A lot of them will have claimed to me that they will refuse to support any Alex Morello hockey team in the future, even if it's here in Arizona, even if he has the entertainment district. I sure hope that that just doesn't really end up becoming the case. That they, I feel like whatever hockey team gets here, I will take. But honestly, a lot of people really want, and there's no guarantee about this, but so many people want a new billionaire to come in. Probably won't name any names right now, but it's a new billionaire to come in and make it happen. Take care of the exact same thing that Alex Morello wanted to get a whole new district, a whole new arena, and bring the Coyotes back. And once again, it's in that 5-6 years down the road.
It's going to be interesting. I know there's going to be a lot of twists and turns between now and then. Robyn, I know you'll be on top of it every step of the way. Why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find the podcast first and foremost anywhere you get your podcast. If you have Amazon Prime, you can listen to us ad-free on Amazon Music. It's a really important thing right there. Social media, we're on X at LO_Coyotes, and I am at Robyn_Leano.
All right, Robyn, thank you so much, and great job keeping up with this very volatile situation.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. And with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.